Good evening, ladies and gentlemen. I think it's our privilege to be associated with RUAS TEDx for the second successful event in the second year out here. As a speaker, last year I was around with all of you as a curator. A short tale of my life, which has been covered here, wanted to explain this short tale in the shortest time which has been given to me, 20 minutes. Given an opportunity, it is 30 years of continual journey of meaningfully relating to village life and relating my life from village to the boardrooms of the biggest of the companies. My journey started as a villager, being in a small village, humbly put up in a small abode, finding my place to realize the value proposition of identifying with several others across the globe who make themselves identified and shape up their career. I felt the summary is well explained in the slide. Each one of us want to be master of the content, the channel, being a subject matter expert, and of course, our ability to compete in the best known world, which is competing with each other to excel in the world view. My journey started by taking up stage at infancy age of 7 or 8, when the greatest statesman of India, Mr. Vajpayee ji, visited my small village called Kumbla. I was given an opportunity to sing the Vande Mataram, and everybody had their skepticism of me being identified instead of a local greatest and latest singer. Being a child artist, it took me a lot of courage to stand before him and perform the song, which is nationally well known. And eventually, I realized the entire audience who have been gathered in that small village, about 80,000 of them, started rhyming with me. I just want to tell you all, being youngsters, realizing the value proposition of realizing what is in it for you as a child when you get an opportunity and when you don't get an opportunity. How do you leverage content? How do you leverage learning? How do you leverage ecosystem of smallness, being a villager? It's a testimony of understanding self in the context of the limited opportunity you get at a point in time. Grab it when you have it. Don't wait for another day. My journey of realizing being a young artist, being a young All India radio artist at the age of 13, happened simply because every second opportunity I got, whether it is in the church or in the temples or in the verandas of the villages, where people invited me to play tabla. I had the privilege to learn tabla from the smartest and the biggest of the artists, all the way from Kolkata to Mangalore. I had an opportunity to carry tabla sets, being a member of Speak Mackay. The realization of the knowledge of artist is capitalized by virtue of not understanding the stage, but understanding the green room. The amount of time spent with who's who of the artistic world made me realize art is all about practice, and practice leading to excellence. And all that happens in the green room. As I always say, the smartest of the sprinters are created when they are in the practice ground. And they create world record because they practiced several world records before coming on to the actual competition. My realization of value proposition happened with rubbing shoulders with sports people, not because I wanted to take my selfie along with them, but being one of those curators to realize what they can do to the larger audience, 99% of the time missing an opportunity to be an artist or a sports person. It is those people who gave me an opportunity to tell those 99% of the people who do not get an opportunity to be on the stage or off on the ground playing test matches or one-dayers. It is an opportunity for me to go back to villages, go back to cities, go back to clubs, wherein students invest there several years without even getting one single club match to be played and won and having an accolade on their banner. And those are the crowds which help me to realize there are 99% of the audience whom we deal with may not get the iconic feeling of realizing passion has no boundaries. Many times we say it, but what happens to those people, in spite of having the passion, do not get those boundaries to make it boundaryless. I started with dealing with such people. At the age of 22, when I passed out from the business school, it gave me an opportunity to rub shoulders with the smartest, the brilliant, and the iconic figures, telling me one thing in common between these iconic figures or celebrities. They always had their ability to look at value proposition of working really, really hard before they started with their startups. Every fireside chat which I sat with, every fireside chat which I prepped them with, I had one story to tell myself. I think the innovation, the creativity, and the depth of understanding of business or creating iconic entrepreneurial journey happens by realizing continual effort to stay tall, believe in fail fast, and ensuring our ability to grow up happens over a period of time, and only ordinary people can become extraordinary. I think these are the stories which never been discussed or well understood by many people who do give case studies in business schools. We do not have case studies of failures in our business schools. I think the brilliant ones are those people who learned on the fly by failing, by doing things umpteen number of times without getting any acknowledgements. I think that is the story which I learned from each one of them, backdrop, in the green rooms, in the practice sessions. How do I enable all these learnings back to the school, back to the village where I belong to? The only way I could do it by associating myself with education. Corporate honchos, they said, you need to be in the best-in-class B schools to realize the value propositions of invites to even the villages. So I have to reverse integrate my entire architecture of looking at visible educationist program by starting associating myself with the well-known B schools. I reverse integrated that ability to be present in well-known B schools and then started visiting B schools, undergraduate schools, undergraduate engineering colleges, and back into pre-primary schools. Today, we have about 127 little-known girl children getting educated by virtue of being a child of a single mother or no parents. Today, I canvass myself to educate about 120 plus girl children in our own Namma Bangalore. Education looks sensibly high, sensibly great, and it gives you a great CV on the dais when you go on to the dais. I think we need to be aware of the fact that about 85% of the people who do not complete even their 10th standard need to have coaches like you and me who finish their graduation and post-graduation on time from the best known universities in the world. That's why my endeavor to realize the realizable value for those villagers and make sure I put my significant amount of personal time on the weekends to give back to these students. You will never find me any of the weekends out there in Bangalore, or I will be identified with one of those associated colleges which otherwise can't afford a corporate speaker. Finally, I think the calibration of you being the best, you being world class, you being a board member, you being an educationist, happens by understanding your humility to be grounded. I think my ability to associate with spirituality, while I continue to believe the vehicle is our religion, or the religion we all belong to, being humble, being spiritually known, gives you that resilience to tolerate any unknown which comes on your way. I started working very, very closely with some of the well-known spiritual camps by being party to those conversations, by being an volunteer there, by being a very, very ordinary citizen amongst thousands of those people who volunteer to understand spirituality. It also gave me an ability to understand naturotherapy better, my ability to understand health a little better, my ability to stay grounded when everybody makes an attempt to put yourself on a pedestal like this, flying your CV high with all anecdotal statements of what you've done. I think spirituality is a great accompanist when it comes to an artist because it stays grounded. It gives you the ground to realize what you've not done and there is a way or a mile to cover. I just want to cover with two anecdotal statements to all of us sitting in this room, especially students. I think we are in a world of opportunity. We have a runway of 30 or 40 odd years competing with the best-in-class emerging countries. I think we need to realize we are in this Punya Bhumi, ability to realize whether it is education, being a geek, or an artist, or a sports person. I think this is the place for us to realize that value. I would request and urge each one of you to have the best behavior and attitude to capitalize on the opportunity which India is giving all of us and being humble about it. Our ability to understand this behavior happens well when we move from reaction to proactive behavior. As Harsha Bogle many times said, it is the talent takes you to a level, but the attitude takes you to the next level. I think our ability to have the attitude to go to the next level defines our altitude. I would urge and request all of you to remain curious, have a sense of urgency for learning, take that one bet each day in your day-to-day life as a student, as an entrepreneur, as an employee of a multinational company, as we evolve in this great country, India and Bharat. Jai Hind. All the very best.